I'm glad that I got the chance today to speak about performance reviews and performance improvement plans. Hopefully, we won't need to get to employee discipline, which is kind of the end of the performance improvement plan process, although the performance improvement plan is part of the discipline. Times we want it to be part of uh, not the disciplinary process, but more of the retention process, so that disciplinary process is not needed. So a performance review should always, you should do informal performance reviews. It should not occur just once a year in a very formal setting. Employers should be constantly evaluating an employee's work. It can help employees correct any issues quickly. It can mean fewer surprises for an employee. A review could be as simple as a verbal correction or verbal praise. And then you do have the formal performance review where you should be discussing the strengths of the employee, the areas for improvement, and the employee job goals for the coming year. The performance improvement plan is something that comes up with an employee that is a little more serious. So maybe a verbal counseling is not enough, and you're still seeing some performance issues, and all of this applies to, I would say, not just performance, but attendance as well. If you've got an employee whose attendance might not be the greatest, and this is, of course, within the employee's control. A performance improvement plan can work for if you've got a little spotty attendance as well. So this is when a verbal counseling doesn't seem to be enough, you would move to a performance improvement plan. So this is what I consider the 5-point performance improvement plan. This is what I always, when I get questions from employers who say, I'm kind of lost. I want to issue a performance improvement plan, but I don't know where to start or to finish. This is my 5-point performance improvement plan, and this is something you'll get the slide deck, so you'll have this. You can certainly open a ticket if you have questions about it. But what I do is say, describe the unacceptable performance or the problem behavior, describe the acceptable performance or the desired behavior, define a metric that you will use to measure whether there's an increase in the acceptable behavior or a decrease in the acceptable behavior. Set a period for review. So don't just set the PIP out there and let them run with it. Set a time that you're going to review, and then give the consequences for failure to improve the acceptable behavior or decrease the unacceptable behavior. They need to know what the next step is, and it's going to kind of be ineffective if you just hand them a PIP and they don't know what's going to happen next if they don't work to get in line. Employee discipline, this is what we're hoping to avoid with performance improvement plan. This is a difficult area. It's not everyone's favorite topic. It's still very important. It's an unpleasant and difficult process for both employees and employers to experience. But if you're consistent with the performance improvement plan, you're consistent with your kind of daily performance checks, correcting employees, praising employees, doing the informal performance review on a daily basis, then employees are going to feel that the process is more fair. If it does come down to discipline, if you've been evaluating their performance on a daily basis and it just comes to a point where it's not working out and you do have to part ways, then employees are going to feel that the process is more fair because they will be able to say, I was involved, I went through the performance improvement process, I knew clearly what I had to do, and that's very important, is to make it clear in the performance improvement plan, because you don't want any surprises. So this is how a performance improvement plan can lead to effective employee discipline. And again, just a note on employee discipline: establishing clear standards, communicating the expectations to your employees, which is part of that daily performance, and the performance improvement plan. If you do move to that with your employees, expectations is key. To communicate your expectations, communicate that desired behavior, communicate that problem behavior, and get that across, that don't leave your employees in the dark, and then surprise them with discipline. You're going to get employees who feel that you're unfair, who feel that the manager or supervisor who issues the discipline is or the performance improvement plan is out to get them. That's a situation you don't want. You want employee morale to go up, and you want to definitely retain employees who can turn it around with some performance improvement, with the performance improvement plan or with the performance review, than you do wanting to spend all the money on recruiting, hiring, onboarding, training a new employee. So this is steps for employee discipline. Hopefully we don't get this far in the process, but again, you would do the investigation. If you've got an investigation stage that where it's gone, an issue that a performance improvement plan can't fix, and with performance improvement plans, I would say never use them in the case where you've got an allegation of sexual harassment, an allegation of workplace violence, theft of property, damage to property, drugs, alcohol, things like that. That's not going to work with a performance plan. That's going to move to investigation and discipline. It's very tricky to have a performance improvement plan when you've got a sexual harassment allegation. You know, I've seen issues where it's an employee who's very well liked among other employees who is accused of the sexual harassment, and employers, you know, want to keep that employee around, but there have been too many allegations. It's a trouble for the employer, but they like having the employee around, so they move to a performance improvement plan as a way to discipline without actually doing anything to address the situation. This is not a case where a performance improvement plan should be used. It should not be used to retain an employee that you know in your heart should be let go, and it should be applied uniformly, consistently, all the time. You should not pick and choose which employee you're going to put on a performance improvement plan, or which employee you're going to lead to further discipline. You need to be consistent. You need to define the behavior that would lead to a performance improvement plan. Like I said, attendance, make protocol for this. Make if you've got performance, you know, say these are the standards that the employee would have to not meet before we would move to a PIP. Attendance, same thing. These are the standards at which we would move to a PIP, so that you're not applying these in a discriminatory way. Kind of what you do for one employee is what you do for all employees, and that's what's most important. So I just want to thank everybody for being here at the webinar today. If you have any questions about performance improvement plans, any questions about employee discipline, when it's appropriate to move to a performance improvement plan, how to come up with a metric to measure the employee's improvement, anything like that, please submit a question through the portal. If you are not a client, please email info@myHRcounsel.com. We'd love to help you answer any questions about performance improvement plans or about any of your HR legal questions. So thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Britt, and thank you all for attending. That was some really great information, and it gave the attendees a lot to consider about performance improvement plans. If you'd like us to help and you're already a client of ours, you know that you can log into the Ask an Attorney portal like Britt had mentioned and speak directly to an attorney. If you're a business owner or HR professional and aren't yet a client but understand the value of having unlimited access to HR and employment legal advice, please reach out to us at info@myHRcounsel.com. We'd be happy to get you started and get you a second opinion before you get an employee on a performance improvement plan. We hope to see you on a webinar again in the near future, and have a great rest of the day.